Hurricane Bonnie is now a major hurricane in the Pacific. Hello, I'm Mike Nasa with the latest on the tropics. Hope everybody had a good Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Looking at the United States of America right now, not a whole heck of a lot going on with tropical development. We did have Colin along the South Carolina coastline a few days ago. However, that was very weak and ill-defined. We do still have Bonnie. It's moved across Central America and into the Pacific, and it is now a major Category 3 hurricane. Here's the latest on Hurricane Bonnie as of 11 a.m. Eastern Time from the National Hurricane Center, 10 a.m. Central. Bonnie was at 15.3 north, 104.3 west, and winds are up to 115 miles per hour. It's a Category 3, and a 3 and above, 3 to 5, that's a major hurricane, and it's moving west at 14. You can see it should eventually weaken to a tropical storm by Sunday, but take that long track off the coast of Mexico with some high swells propagating off. You can see the tropical storm force winds and the hurricane winds, and those major hurricane force winds are well away from any land masses. Now, even though this developed in the Atlantic as a tropical storm, it counts as a tropical storm in the Atlantic, it became a hurricane and now a major hurricane in the eastern Pacific. So it does not count as an Atlantic hurricane or an Atlantic major hurricane. It is rare to get these systems that keep their name across into another basin, but just to clarify, Bonnie will remain a Pacific hurricane and major, and only a brief tropical storm there in the Atlantic. You can see it took forever to develop. Had it developed earlier, it would have been a hurricane, and probably a powerful hurricane for areas down there near Nicaragua and Costa Rica, causing the problems. I know that it did cause deaths. I think 4 people died in Nicaragua, 1 in El Salvador, possibly higher because of flooding. Like I said, flooding, torrential rains, especially down there in areas of Central America. However, you can see the track moved into the Pacific. It became a hurricane and now a strong hurricane, but it should remain out at sea. Nevertheless, you'll have those waves and surf propagating, so be careful in case the surf gets rough there along areas of the Mexican coast, and even up towards the Baja as Bonnie moves on away. Here's a beautiful visible satellite imagery. Now you can see Bonnie is blowing up convection right there in the eye wall, kind of disrupting the eye. It is a strong major hurricane, but you see these clouds kind of blowing down? That's northeasterly shear. And whenever storms get northerly shear like that, they get kind of this thumb look to them, and you can see it's having trouble on the northern side there, pushing out its outflow. So that could keep it in check, but it's already a Category 3 major hurricane, so it achieved hurricane and major hurricane strength in spite of that. However, as this shear continues, and as the system moves towards cooler Pacific waters, we should eventually see it weaken. Now, as far as the Atlantic's concerned, after Bonnie moved on through, we had Little Colin. We're waiting for Danielle, that's the next storm. The ensemble models show that sometime in about 10 days we could see another Colin-type system develop off the East Coast, but it would move out to sea probably between the New England areas and Bermuda there, if at all, and that's the European ensembles. The GFS ensembles, they seem to show the same type of deal. If we get any type of system in the next 10 days, it'll be well out to sea and weak. So down here in the tropical Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf, it looks pretty quiet. We really are in the dog days of hurricane season. As a kid tracking back in the late 90s, I remember it would be, summer vacation, and every day I'd be watching the Weather Channel. Do we have a hurricane? Do we have a hurricane? And when we get hurricanes? When I was back in school in late August. That's when things happen. Late August. August 20th, Dr. William Gray used to say that's when the conveyor belt, the switch turns on in the Atlantic, sometime around August 20th. But, as we saw with Bonnie, it could happen anytime. You can see the last several days we had our system come through the Caribbean, almost become a tropical storm for days. By the time it did, slammed into Nicaragua and Costa Rica, moved offshore, became a hurricane, now a major hurricane Bonnie. That is a long-track tropical wave, and that kept us busy for the latter part of June into July, and now we await and see what the rest of hurricane season 2022 has in store. I'm Mike Nasa with the latest on Hurricane Bonnie, an Eastern Pacific major hurricane, an Atlantic tropical storm, and something to keep us busy before the rest of what is predicted to be a very active year. I'll talk to you guys next time.